welcome to the show. My name is Victoria. The show is brought to you by Lady Leaders Connect. These are our juicy talking points for today. Before we get started, let me give a shout out to all my women in business or emerging female entrepreneurs. Drop your business and your city in the chat. We want to hear from you. Please support us by subscribing to this channel, liking and sharing this video to increase our engagement and our reach in the algorithm. Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Shivonne Urbano, and I am from Blaqfluence magazine.
Awesome. I am excited to talk to you. We have a lot in common. So we're going to go ahead and get this information out there. This month's topic at Lady Leaders Connect is your why in business. And this week's topic is your why may shift. So we're going to get into a little bit about that, past and current experiences, and just tap into the journey of entrepreneurship. We're going to hear about your magazine that is dedicated to platforming entrepreneurs like ourselves. That's also exciting. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that before we dive in?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, it is. Just to second you, it is definitely a platform for inspiration for our Black-owned businesses, whether you are an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, or even just a creator. And at times we don't have that support we need to see ourselves in business. And this magazine will give you the opportunity to see not only yourselves, but insights, tips, stories, things that will help continue to inspire you, motivate you to keep going, even though you want to throw in the towel daily. Or you might want to scratch your idea and say, I don't know, nobody's going to buy that. No, keep going. So that this magazine is what is going to do that for you.
Our own Black Forbes.
That's right.
Black entrepreneur platform. I love that. Because this journey is full of twists and turns. So I feel like you do have to connect yourselves with podcasts like this, magazines like yours. You have to celebrate the journey while you're in it, because there's so many highs and lows of lows. So we definitely have to celebrate ourselves while we're in the process and connect with people like us. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. And you know what? Let's think about it realistically. When you see a picture that a group photo, for example, that you're in, who are you looking for first? You look for yourself.
I want to make sure that everything is on point.
Right. So similarly, the magazine is a reflection of us. It's a reflection of our businesses. We want to see what we look like. We want to see, and then now we know, oh, this is what we can aspire to become. Oh, if I have that surrounding me all the time, I know this business I'm doing has potential to go somewhere, right? And that's ultimately the premise of that.
I love that. And then it's also giving inspiration to other people that may have not started their journey, may have taken a break from their journey, or are looking to return to their journey. And they just needed to see that particular person in the industry that they may want to get into being platformed. And I know what we're doing here, we're not focused on the super, super successful. We are focusing on the everyday entrepreneur, because we deserve a voice and a platform as well. Absolutely. And I feel like as society steers away from the celebrity to, the everyday person, which I feel is amazing, I definitely want to be a part of that journey in platforming other women like myself. I know along my journey, I've always had a lot of people reach out that may be doing the same field that I was in at the time. And I really didn't have the time or the bandwidth to assist them at the time the way that I wanted to, because when you're in entrepreneurship, you're focused and time is money.
Yes, it is.
But this time out of the gate, I want to use all of my talent, my platform, and my resources to help lift others up. This time the journey isn't about me. It's about connecting and collaborating and conquering with other women.
That's excellent. I love that. That three C's. We need it. We definitely need the collaboration, the connecting. We need and the conquering. We need it all because
Yes.
it is a tough road. And you're right. Not all of us have the support system that we need to get through it. It is a challenge. I mean, and some days you sometimes question, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But one thing I would say, I tell people actually, your success is not in the ability to whatever your business is, right? Some people say, well, I didn't make no money. So, but whatever your business is, if you sold one thing, let's say your item was a retail item or a product you made, or you wanted to get a certain amount of views on something, whatever you created and you had somebody clicked on it, somebody bought it, somebody tried it, that's a success story right there. You were successful. So
Right.
we measure success in quantity, but it's not about the quantity. Is did the idea work? Yes, you put it together, you sold it, you manufactured it, you marketed it, and guess what? Somebody bit and said, I want to try it.
Somebody was interested.
Well, that's success right there, you
And
know.
then I think we define our own level of success. I definitely feel like success has to be tailored to your lifestyle, your
Yes.
goals. For me, I don't think success is not monetary at this point. I'm at a different point in my life. So, success for me is being able to successfully platform these women in business and just the creation of a business that aligns with my lifestyle,
That's
creating the freedom that I want, creating the celebration that I want of
that's true.
myself, as well as other female entrepreneurs, and just having everything work seamlessly. Automation and marketing is a huge part of my journey this time around. I learned a lot in the journey of becoming a digital marketing strategist. I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of us have had a sour story when it comes to marketing our businesses because it's like, oh, well, we put some money into a Facebook ad or
Mhm.
Instagram ad and it didn't do anything.
The reach, right? We're complaining about the reach, but we don't realize the investment it takes to turn over. I mean, let's think about it as a person. If you come and try to sell me something, it's, I believe it says 7 touches
Yeah.
before the customer even intrigues them. Now, I'm not that kind of shopper. If I know what I'm looking for before I go to the store. So if you intrigue me, I might interested.
It's done.
I might bite off the spot. But for most people, they gotta look the research. They gotta know who you are. Are you a scam? They gotta do all this deep dive in before they make a decision. And even still, they may still not make a decision.
Yeah. You
Sometimes it's
def
who is selling the item, right?
yeah. You definitely have different types of decision makers.
Yeah.
So I feel like every entrepreneur should be aware of that. And then in marketing, there is an awareness phase
Right.
where you were speaking about selling the one item before being a success. So to someone like that, I would say maybe you didn't spend enough time with the awareness phase.
Hmm.
So it's not that your ideal failed, you may have bailed too quickly.
Right. You
So
gotta, it's stick to it. Is that what they say, right? This is a long game we're in. This is not the short game. So if you are quitting every day, which we all quitting every day, we have to remember that this is the long game. We got to stick through it. And you're right. You might go months without selling anything, but that's not the point. It's as a business. You
yeah.
need to understand the ins and outs of your business and connect with your audience, whether that's a customer, if that's a brand, whoever your audience is. It's not just I want you to buy my product. You need to know the story. What's the why for them? Why
Mhm.
should I buy into your why? You know, you got to
Yeah.
reach the heart.
And that touches on our talk for today,
This
putting that why in there and then evolving and pivoting when we personally need to. I feel like as an entrepreneur, we all bring something unique to our businesses, even if we are doing the same thing, the person next to you cannot offer what it is that you're offering because you are one of one.
Correct.
So they can't possibly compete with you.
Correct.
And we have to find a way to bring that to the forefront of our brand and relate to the people that connect to us, that may be similar to us or that are inspired by us. That's just how I feel about it.
That's a good point. In fact, if you think of even certain types of products, like let's say I'll give example of, tea. Some people want convenience in the tea. So they'll technically will buy, or they tend to, excuse me, purchase tea bags that are already ready to go, pop in, roll. Well, some people don't have that. They want to take their time and they want the real herbal essence of it. They want to have loose leaf. They want to put it in their teapot. They
Ooh,
got time for it to expand and simmer for 4 minutes, and they want to sit back and sip with that tea. But
a connoisseur.
see what I'm saying? But there's two different businesses there. You might be feeding into a market that wants convenience. Well, your competitor, what you think is your competitor, is not. They're feeding into someone who's ready to just sit back and relax. That's two different people. Or it could be the same customer, but it's just two different times of the day. So never think that your product or your idea, oh, it saturated the market. No, it may feed a different audience. You just don't know. So don't shoot yourself short on that.
I agree. I agree. Has there ever been a time where you knew that you needed to pivot from a situation? Or I want to kind of get into the trusting your intuition or just leaning into the confidence, I guess, of moving forward with whatever it is that you're focused on the time. Because you mentioned
Stuff going.
a lot about, sometimes we do wake up and say, oh,
This ain't working.
you are
Well,
we sure that this is our,
I'll say that though. I'll say
are
that.
we sure this is the plan? We
Well,
need
I can answer that, and I can roll that up answer, right? I can roll it up into one answer because I know you were like, girl, pick one. But all the different things I'm doing and all the different ideas I have, the main thought that comes to me that makes me go, I need to do this. It usually has to do with if I'm pitching an idea or a suggestion
Mhm.
and no one's listening. And you're sitting there going, I know if we just did this, this could work. And what gives me that confidence is like, Shivonne, stop waiting for them to listen to you. Just do it yourself. Like, what you waiting for?
Mm.
Stop waiting for a seat at the table and, as if they command the table. Make your own table. Get your own. And so that has always been for all the things I've been involved in, and even to this magazine. I have
Create your own
pitched the thought to others and say, hey, listen, why don't you do this with your magazine? Why don't you incorporate this with the networking? And they go, yeah. They never really listening to you because it's not on their path, it's not on their journey. And you feel some kind of way because you're saying, well, you want suggestions, you want ideas because you're inside looking out, right? And you're looking at everyone else around you and going, well, if we just did this, this could actually help unify, right?
Yeah.
And no one's listening. But then you say, you know what, Shivonne, what you waiting for? Just go do it yourself. And ultimately, isn't that what entrepreneurs are? You see a need, you fill a need. You have that passion in you that you're thinking, well, there's a solution to this. Why ain't nobody else do it yet? What are you waiting for? Just go do it. Go make it. Go build
Yeah.
it. Create it.
Maybe it's for you.
Exactly. Because you see the vision, it's yours.
Right.
Take it from the helm and make it happen. And
Indeed.
that's even from personally from me. What made me just jump into entrepreneurship later on in my years of experience in HR is I got tired of working for people. Just corporate world for us. I mean, let's be real. I'm gonna call it out as we're the most educated group. We're the most high paid earners in this country, in the United States. Most of us are leading the families. We already have a natural leadership ability about us. Now you throw us in corporate, oh girl, um, we taking control, we taking over, we running stuff. And even though we may have to follow someone else's direction, we tend to butt heads. And that was my problem. I tend to believe, I haven't been official, but I tend to believe I have a little neurodivergence going on. And most of us neurodivergents don't like to listen to authority. We don't, and it's not that we don't like to listen to authority. I
Wild
learned,
card.
yeah, that's the wild card. We wild. But the reason is not necessarily we don't want to listen to authority. We tend to be outspoken and share our ideas and our thoughts, or we tend to catch things and
Oh, I
speak it.
learned that was a mistake.
And once you speak it, oh, who told you that you had the authority to even speak it? Who gave you the platform to even suggest, right? And who are you? You just you on the lower end here. You're not up here with us, big wigs. And that's the issue. It's not being heard. So I come back full circle. Not being heard. So why are you waiting for them to even recognize you? Just go do your own thing. Just start your own company.
Yeah, I learned that. I'm not going to say I learned it the hard way because I found out after the fact, but I have a background in finance, consumer, as well as B2B credit. And I happened to be in a meeting. We were meeting with the banks, and I worked on policy and procedures for my department. I was a team leader, team builder. And I was invited to one of the meetings to go over, different compliances as well as our policy and procedure. And I, without thinking, I corrected a VP because
Ooh,
he was giving inaccurate information. And I wrote the policy and procedure. So, without thinking, I corrected him in front of the bank partners. And, my manager let me know, after the meeting that was something that I shouldn't have done. But the meeting was being documented and cemented, but he was given the wrong information. So there wasn't going to be another time to correct the situation. But she said, no, you shouldn't have done that.
wow.
So kind
And
of
I can relate to your story. Girl, we all, see. I told you we all in this together. As entrepreneurs, we hard headed. In fact, I had a similar story too, and I worked in HR, and I remember having the company wanted to do something with the 401k, and they said, "Hey, how do we not pay this bonus into the 401k matches?" And I said, you had to amend your agreement. We already passed the year for that." And what ended up happening is that I had to reach out to our retirement partners and say, "How do we do this?" And they said, "Shivonne, can we take this call offline?" They were like, "Mm-mm." The only way we could get around it is that you had to get a written confirmation from each employee that they wanted not to defer for this particular payroll. And I remember getting chewed out from corporate officer, director of accounting chewed me out and said, "You need to listen to what we tell you to do. You got a boss." And I said, "Mm-mm." I said, "When it's not legal or if it's not ethical, I'm not going to court. I'm not going to court for y'all so y'all can still fire me in the end for lying. Nope." Because that's one thing I learned about. That's one thing I learned about in being in HR. HR and similar to your background, you are held to a high level of ethics. And the minute something goes to court and you contradict your own ethical training, you're already lost. You lost all credibility. I'm not putting myself out there for that, but like you said,
You will be served up.
I wasn't supposed to challenge it. I was supposed to go, "Okay, I'll make it happen." Knowing my training and education was like, "No, we don't do that. We don't mess with those plain documents. You got to renew and ratify that for the next year. You can't just decide we're not going to pay into 401k matching. Are you crazy? Why would I do that?" You know what I'm saying? Like, who's thinking here? But that's the thing about corporate. It's once you don't run your world. They run you, and they tell you, "This is what we want you to do." for us, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's ethical or illegal, they don't care.
And that's when you know that it's time to
Time to
pivot.
go.
That's
See y'all. I gotta get
that's
out here.
time to pivot. And we definitely have to bring that knowing and understanding that we know when we know that it's time
Yes.
to get out of a situation. That's how you know when it's time to pivot. And I believe it's the same in our businesses.
Oh yeah.
When we had COVID, a lot of businesses had to pivot, you know,
Hmm.
in that respect. And a lot of our legacy businesses, they didn't make it because they were unable to pivot to the online forum. And a lot of them are going out of business. A lot of them are consolidating and such. So, yeah, being able to pivot and staying open to, like you said, bringing new ideas. I think being a part of a network and other business women, I think we have to, I guess, be open to hear feedback regarding our business. I know I try to reach out and create like focus groups, and that's how I know I want to be involved in a network because I want to be attached to the pulse of what's going on. I can't know everything. So
True.
we have to come together, as women in business and share resources and information. What's your
Absolutely.
thoughts?
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100% on the networking portion of that, because you only know what you know. A
Mhm.
lot of us, as the term tells us, entrepreneurs, it's the first pathway we're making. We're making footsteps as we move forward. It's only until we look back and see where we've come, we understand, okay, maybe I should have gone left instead of right, or maybe I should have taken on this venture as opposed to doing this other direction I went on. But we don't know that as we're going down the path. We're creating the path as we go.
Right.
Having the network is great because sometimes you didn't think of everything, because how could you do that? You're not omniscient, right? You
Right.
need other people to go, hey,
And people
what do you
that
think
you can
about this?
trust.
True. Or
And
who's done it? Who's done business as well, too, right?
yeah, and talk to other, women in business as if like, what is the customer's side of things? What is the customer seeing? Because essentially that's who you're talking to is, somebody outside of the business that doesn't have a dog in the fight. They're just going to tell you,
True.
what it is that they see and potentially like what would scare them off or what would prevent them from doing business with you. So I think that's very valuable.
You
Uh,
definitely need the feedback, because sometimes we get in our own way.
mm,
Sometimes where our view is very limited. We're in the weeds because it's our business, it's our love, it's our passion, and this is it.
exactly.
And then here comes someone telling me that ain't gonna sell. What? We take offense instantly, but
I
really we
mean,
need to
it's
look.
your baby.
Exactly, it is your baby, right? But we need to look at it and go, no, your baby ain't wearing the right shoes. They don't match that outfit.
Yeah.
And let me help you redirect that. And it takes humility to get there, because again, our egos are in it, right? We
Mm.
are proud of ourselves, and someone tell us, well, I don't know if that's gonna work, or why do you have that color? You're like, what you talking about? But hearing the
What-
feedback is important, because now you can go back and make adjustments if necessary. What?
Because your customers, they're not really going to get the opportunity, or they're not, well, I don't know, we're in a different age. People love to complain and go online and give you bad reviews, but you definitely want to hear certain things that is possible to hear before it gets to that point, because we are in the age of bad reviews. Or if you're sitting up hearing crickets, then something, I would want more information about, what is there anything I need to adjust beyond, going through that awareness phase. So I do think it's important to get feedback. It's definitely important.
Absolutely. You always want to know more than people who love you. people who don't have, like you said, any skin in the game, let them tell you, well, if I was a customer, how do you feel about this product? Not every no means it's not going to work out. It just,
Right.
they're giving you their objective thoughts on if they were a customer. And that feedback is very helpful to redirecting the business.
I agree. And then everybody is not your niche market. A lot of times, I know in my younger day, you want to, you're excited to tell your friends and family about what it is that you have going on to see if they could be potential customers or what have you. And a lot of times they are not interested because they're too close to the situation, or maybe the product doesn't relate to them. It could be any one of those things. And sometimes that could be hard to, excuse me, hard to accept or receive. Like, oh, my family doesn't even, want to support or what have you. Or if you're a serial entrepreneur, they may get tired of supporting. But the thought is maybe they're not your niche market, or maybe it's no for right now, like any other customer would be that you come across, unless they're looking for you and a product like yours and they're ready to buy in that moment. There is an awareness phase, essentially.
Absolutely. You're so right about that, because in one of my businesses, my family and relatives who saw some things I posted never asked a question about it, never wanted to know more, but they laughed amongst themselves. I learned later, right? They were like cackling about, what's she doing? That don't look like nothing to. And they visited me recently, and I shared some of my product with them and said, "Here, take it back to my aunts, have everybody try it out," because some these products are shelf life is short, because it's natural. Girl, why 3 months later? Oh, we tried it. Can we get more of that? Can we get? It really worked. And I said, "Look at that. You was just laughing about me. You were just laughing about it, right?" So that's why I said you can't worry about them. If you know you have a thought, a passion, something you want to do, you may have to pivot. Yes, you may have to make adjustments, but don't listen to the family, the friends, the naysayers. Listen to those objective who understand business, who could be a potential, so they can look at your idea in a different light. And now I hear back when I go, well, what y'all think about the products? Girl, we trying to get more. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? Don't listen to the naysayers. Keep on the
Sustained.
path. Exactly. Keep going to the path you were going on. Don't give up.
I completely agree. So before we close it out, I want to ask about industry changes. We touched a little bit on COVID and how the business arena has changed. That's something I try to touch on here and there with my blog that I have. Is the industry? I feel like there's like a 4-year pattern where you may be able to be in a certain business. The more technology comes out, the faster things are shifting. At some point, we're running behind technology at this point. It's like there's a business cycle of every 4 years. It's like things are drastically changing. What are you finding the most challenging at this point in the business cycle? I would have to say.
But post COVID, what's the challenges? I would say it's just the connection with people. Ultimately, it's trying to meet them where they're at,
Hmm.
and their openness to want to do business. A lot of people are thinking, well, how long are you going to really last, or how long are you going to be around?
Oh, no.
Longevity is usually something that most people want to see.
Hmm.
And so they don't, that trust factor is not there yet. They need to see you around for a while before they want to invest or partner. And that makes sense, because to me at that point, because, well, why would I want to invest if you're just going to be here today and gone tomorrow?
Okay, so
That's
you mean from a financial investor
Yeah,
standpoint?
yeah. So most people are very hesitant in investing if they're not certain it's going to be a sure thing. So
Mhm.
those seems to be the that, and also funding, because since COVID, and whether it's PPP loans and all these other things that have come out,
Mhm.
A lot of agencies have really scaled back on their ability to fund these businesses and really give us the push we need to help us kind of keep going and advancing. So that seems to be a little bit of challenges that I've noticed post COVID with
Okay.
businesses trying to, get their feet, get themselves, settled to either grow or pivot or what have you.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So business funding and collaborators. Gotcha. Okay. So this was a great conversation. We learned a lot about you and what motivates and drives you. It was a good conversation. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So where can people keep up with you at?
At present, you can follow me on all social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram, which is Blaqfluence,
Mhm.
and also visit blaqfluence.com, which is our website, and also where you can subscribe to our upcoming release of the magazine that's going to be in digital format for now, hopefully print in the future, but that would be May 31st, 2025. So keep an eye out and
Awesome.
register, and hopefully you can get some updates as I go along in my process and my journey.
Yes, yes, yes. We will keep in touch. Thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.